Hey everyone, welcome in. It is the Gamecock Club Hour here on the game, presented as always by Krantz Cooling and Heating. I'm Chris Clark. Great to be with you. And we got another Gamecock football athlete joining us today on the program. It's Jared Brown, JB, Gamecock Football. Jared, how's it going, man? Appreciate you joining us.
Good, man. Good, man. It's going good. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. You're a vet. You've done this before. You've been in studio with us before. So
All right.
good to get you back. It's been a while since we've had an opportunity to talk, and a lot going on. Obviously, an entire season that you played, your first in the Garnet and Black, and a lot to catch up with. So, hey, we got a lot of ground to cover, but here's where I got to go first, man. I saw the clips on social media. We knew it was coming. Y'all had the basketball game.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about the basketball game. I feel like we got your starting five last year when we had you in studio. So we might need to update that. But how did the game go? What's your thoughts? Y'all got some hoopers on the team this year or what?
Man, we have a lot of hoopers, man, including me. Me and my team, we ended up winning the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were all pretty excited about that. But yeah, man, we got a lot of hoopers on the team, a lot more than I expected. So yeah, the boys can play.
Okay, so some pleasant surprises. So maybe your five is your top five on from what you saw. I'm sure there's guys on other teams, but who all was on your squad? Who were you rolling with the other night?
Wait, you're talking about the basketball tournament, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was actually a 3-on-3 tournament.
Okay, that makes sense. 3-on-3. Yep.
So I mean, it really wasn't really a set three. I mean, we were really just rotating just to see, who it was. But for the championship game, it was me out there, and it was Zabari, and it was Desmond.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
we were
two
on the same
guards and a
team.
big.
Exactly, two guards
Okay.
in the big. That's all we needed.
Did anybody go with the like the three big man type of look? Did anybody strategize with that?
I don't think so. I mean, I didn't see that. I don't think that would be a good strategy because that you don't have nobody that can, handle the ball for you. So I don't think anybody would do that. I
Yeah,
didn't
that
see
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah.
Well, y'all lose some you not only lose some really good football players off last year's team, but I know some of the guys, from the football program 2024 roster were actually really good basketball players too. I mean, you had,
Yeah. Definitely.
Vershawn played in high school. You had TJ Sanders, you had Tonka, Boogie.
Yeah.
I mean, they're some of the big men that are leaving, but tell us about some of the guys we might not suspect that are like really good at basketball that we might not have known about.
I'm gonna say, number one, I'm gonna say Brian Rowe. I don't
Oh,
know if
yeah.
y'all seen that boy tape, but man, he can play. He can definitely play. Him, I'd say Jalewis too.
Oh,
Jalewis
okay.
is a very good hooper.
You know,
Yeah.
the funny thing about that is we already talked about actually both of those on the show. I think, Rowe, I mean, we saw the lefty dunk on social media
Yeah.
and it doesn't really make sense. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't look like he should be able to do that at his
It
size.
looks
And he
like
just
it's
makes it
muscle
look
memory.
easy. Yeah. It just makes it look
It's
easy.
muscle memory. Yeah.
And then Jalewis, I mean, we heard that the dodgeball game the other night, there was some player that did like a jump like split,
Yeah.
and we didn't know who it was, and we heard it was Jalewis. So I'm not surprised that he's also a
Yeah.
basketball player too. Wow.
Yeah. The boys can hoop. Yeah. For
Well,
sure.
so were you hitting your shots from outside? Were you driving? Like, what was
I'm more
some
of
of
like
all?
I don't really shoot a lot of threes.
Uh,
Okay. I'm like a pass first. I like to get my team involved first and then me. So
okay.
I mean the shots I needed to knock down, I definitely knocked down. You'll see in the little edit they come out with. So
Oh, so we got more material coming. You think we got like a highlight video?
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All
Definitely
right.
gonna have that
Well,
video.
everybody be looking for
Yeah.
that on Gamecock Football social media, according to Jared. Jared Brown says it's coming out. So,
Yeah, we'll see.
so, so let's talk about get to actual football here, Jared. just right now, for the fans that may be wondering, what are you guys doing from a schedule standpoint? I know spring ball's starting up in about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks now. Um, what's going on from a schedule standpoint? What are you guys working on?
So I mean, right now we're just, we're having our workouts and all that. We're
Mhm.
just perfecting our craft, when we can. Um I really don't know how the schedule is gonna come out with when spring comes. I don't know
Yeah.
how they're gonna schedule it. So I really can't say much on that. Like we don't really know yet.
But right now, you just got basically you're kind of juggling. You got lifts. You can do
Yeah.
some stuff with the team in terms of like chatting with the coaches, meeting,
Right.
all that, and then you got
Right.
class.
Right. And then we have class. Yeah, so we get all that done in the morning, then we have class in the afternoon. That's the way our schedule works.
What how's it going with school? Like what I know last year you were just getting to Carolina as a transfer. What have you decided to focus on as far as your field of study?
Yeah, so what I'm gonna be majoring in is services management with a minor in sports management
Okay.
and entertainment. And that's just I'm gonna major in. You know, for some of my classes, I have to interview some people in those fields that I would like to work in. So like
Yeah.
whether that's a facility manager or whether that's a you know uh like just any kind of sports, like a like any overseer of a sport, if you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those managers. So anything in that field I would like to do.
Mhm.
Manage like even here. Like manage all the facilities here. Make sure everything is up and running. Make sure things are where they're supposed to be. Make sure the field or court is ready on time for whatever event that we have going on. So
Mhm.
yeah, I would like to be a part of those things.
That's an interesting field, and one that I actually know some people in, and they've had a lot of success with it. I mean,
Yeah.
where did that come from as far as that interest in that field?
But like I want to be the manager of some sort, like I want to be the one calling the shots,
Okay.
telling, I want to be the one that makes that plan, that layout, and make sure everyone can understand it. There's no questions about it. I mean, even if there is, you can always come and ask. But I would just like to, be the one to do that part, and oversee everything, make sure everything is running right.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that kind of leads me to another question related to football. You guys from the last year's roster, there's a lot of guys who were really great leaders for the team
Mhm.
that are, off to the NFL. We had a sit down with Coach Beamer in his office to interview him last month, and we were kind of going over it. And out of all the permanent captains from last season, only one's back, and that's Lenoris. And that's pretty common, right? Like
All right.
seniors are going to be your captains a lot of times. But the point is, he was kind of saying, "Hey, we need guys to step up in leadership roles." So, I mean, given what you just said, do you think that might be you? Like, do you think you might be able to step up and be an even more vocal leader this year?
Yeah, I definitely think I can do that. I feel like the guys respect me, and they want to listen to what I have to say when I say something. I'm not really the vocal type,
Hmm.
but I just lead more by example. The way I carry myself. Outside the building, inside the building. Just stuff like that. That's the kind of leader I see that I am.
Yeah. So as you go through workouts, heading into spring ball, have you done a little bit of that? I mean, you mentioned just being more of a,
Yeah.
not vocal, but lead by example. Like, do you feel like some guys have kind of noticed, whether it's, the strength and conditioning staff or your teammates, like, hey, Jared's really kind of bringing it this off season?
Yeah. And yeah, like I'll talk to the young guys, they need help sometimes because they're new here. It's only my second year here, but I've been in the college system for a long time, so they'll ask me for different pointers, how they should go about things like that. Um, I have been more vocal than what I have been, in the past. I feel like um it's I feel like it's better that I'm doing that because some things that I have to say, I think that other people need to hear it too, because no one else is gonna say it. So that's
Yeah,
what it is.
that's important. So yeah, we're going to come back on the other side, take a quick timeout. Back on the other side, I want to, Jared, dive into how your first season in Columbia went, and then just kind of look forward to 2025 and what you've got in store for this year. So we're going to take a quick timeout. We come back more with Jared Brown on the Gamecock Club Hour, presented by Krantz Cooling and Heating. All right, Chris Clark here with Jared Brown of Gamecock Football. You're listening to the game. It's the Gamecock Club Hour, presented as always by our friends over at Krantz Cooling and Heating. We appreciate them for what they do, and the Gamecock Club for helping make this show happen. Always fun to get a chance to sit down with athletes from, all the different sports at Carolina, or a bunch of the different sports, and just get to know more of them as people. So hopefully y'all are enjoying it just like we do. And we're having a great conversation with Jared Brown here. Jared, let's get a little like big picture perspective, and then I want to kind of zoom into last season and what happened with you individually and as a team. Last year you decided after the 2023 season to transfer from Coastal. You had a bunch of offers. I mean, I remember Auburn was involved, Louisville, South Carolina, of course, some other programs, and you decided to come down here to Columbia to play, your 2024 season and beyond. But when you look at that decision, are you happy with it? What kind of perspective do you have about that choice to head to Columbia?
I'm happy about my decision. I feel like I've made a lot of great connections here, including I came in and Coach Furry came in, and he's a great coach. He played several years in the NFL. He has that experience up there, so he knows what it takes to get somebody up there. And I feel like he's giving me and the other receivers great tips to be better people and be better players on the field. So I like my decision. I like the city of Columbia. I don't really come to I'm from Georgia, so I haven't really came to South Carolina a lot of times, but to visit uh my family members. But now that I live down here, I live in the city and all that, it's a lot of things to do out here. So I like my decision. I like where I am.
Well, and since you mentioned Coach Furry, I'm glad you did that. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about him and just what it's like to work with him, watching you and watching some of your teammates, throughout the course of the year. You could see, the development from game one to, the end of the season. And what is it about Coach Furry you think that makes him so effective and such a good receivers coach?
Yeah, I would say number one that he cares about everybody. He doesn't just single out two or three people that he wants to, really focus on or any of
Mhm.
that. Like he wants everyone to get better. And I feel like once a coach does that, then all your players in your position group are going to be invested into whatever he has to offer. So I feel like that's really what makes him such a great coach.
Does it help at all? You mentioned the NFL background, but
Mm.
I know that, Coach Furry coaches you guys hard. I know practice is not easy, right? Like the
Right.
grind of a season, practice. And I'm sure sometimes y'all as players hear things from your coach that maybe are tough or difficult, but like does it help to be like, all right, this guy literally, you know, led the conference, led the league in receptions as a receiver one year. Like I should probably take what he's saying to heart. Like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. It does help. You know, it's easy to listen to someone that's already done it, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean that's just the way I think, like I am invested to whatever he has going on, you know.
Hmm.
Um yeah, that's all I could say about that. Yeah.
So let's look back at your season. First of all, you had an injury slash some injuries throughout the course of the year that hampered you a little bit. Um, and you came back and finished the year strong. You had a touchdown against Missouri on that screenplay. You had 3 catches against Clemson. But how was it kind of dealing with some of that adversity where, you want to be out there performing. You want to be out there helping your team, but sometimes you've got to, take a seat because you're, rehabbing and everything. How did you manage and deal with that?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. It was, it was hard to
Hmm.
digest. You know, this was really the first season I really had injuries like this to really sit me out games. So, I
Hmm.
was like, I can't display my talents, on the national level. But I love seeing my team eat too though. I
Yeah.
wasn't, I was mad I wasn't playing, but I was still cheering on my team like I was there. And it was you know, one thing I did do is, I put my trust in God. I would,
Hmm.
I pray. I'm a very religious person, so I know He has a plan for me. And, I was just trusting in Him the whole season, and all throughout my injuries, and everything I had going on.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Well, and you had, I mentioned that you had that nice stretch of, Vanderbilt, which was on November
yeah,
9th, and then, Missouri and Clemson, and you
yeah.
had 6 catches between those games. Let's dive into those a little bit, actually. So you come back and have the 51-yarder at Vanderbilt. That was a tight game early. Lenoris evades a sack, as he is pretty good at doing, and then
Mhm.
finds you down the field. Walk us through that play. Like, what are you thinking there? That's a scramble drill play, right? Like,
Right.
had y'all been practicing that situation a good bit?
Yeah, we always practice scramble drill. I mean,
Mhm.
that's an everyday thing. So, it was like, I see him roll out the pocket, I got to get open, make sure
Mhm.
he finds me. So, that's what I did, and then I made the play.
Yeah, and a heck of a play it was by both y'all. Missouri, your first touchdown.
Mm.
Tell us about that play. It's a little screen play, and then you busted
Yeah.
loose. I think had a 38-yard touchdown on that one.
Yeah, it was a little screens. It was a little wide receiver screenplay, and it was my team executed it perfectly. Josh got his block, and then Rashawn let up and got his block too, and then the rest is up to me. I got to make one miss. So
Yeah, you looked pretty healthy on that one.
yeah,
You looked
yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, I was healthy.
pretty scooting
Yeah.
on that one. So, and then by the way, got to ask you, like, into that game, Missouri game.
Mm.
I can't remember. Were you on the field for Rockets touchdown?
I wasn't on the field because I was at the start of the two-minute drill. I would have been on the field if I didn't I dislocated my finger,
Oh, that's
and
right. You
and
did
I
have that. Yeah.
yeah, and it split open. So
Oh.
when it happened, I didn't know it happened. I just couldn't bend my index finger. I couldn't bend it at all. I was trying, but I
Mm.
just couldn't bend it. And then I looked down and saw it was just, yeah, it was, yeah, that didn't
Not
feel good.
not pretty.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
didn't feel good.
Well, what do you think? So, you're sidelined at that point. You've been on the
Yeah,
field. You come off.
yeah,
How about Delvon Campbell making a
yeah,
couple
exactly.
huge
Yeah,
plays?
deep camp. Yeah,
Yeah, huge plays.
huge plays.
How about that play by Rocket at the end? Like,
Yeah,
just
that's
running
a
through people.
that's a grown man run right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was.
that's a
What
grown man run.
do you think that was the? Since you've been here,
Mm.
was that the loudest that you've heard the stadium?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
that was the loudest I've ever heard it.
Well, there's a lot of, like, long time Gamecock fans who
Yeah.
have been going to games for years that say, "Hey, that was the loudest," or "That was like top 5." And Jared, I've gone to a bunch of Carolina games. There are a bunch of people who've gone to way, way more than me. Like, I know people have been going, 30, 40 years, whatever, and they say that was one of the loudest. So pretty
Yeah,
cool
I
that you got
believe
to
him.
be, a part of that,
All right.
for
Yeah.
sure. And a heck of a game. That one just went back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, it did.
Um, what was the mindset? Like, that was part of the 7-game winning streak. And I always ask the guys, like, after that close loss at Alabama, it seemed like y'all just kind of flipped a switch as a team. What Can you speak to that mindset a little bit of what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that we should have won that Bama game,
Mhm.
and we just came up a little bit short, but we all knew from that point on that we were so close, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and we just decided in our head that we weren't losing anymore, and and we finished the season strong like
Yeah.
that.
It worked. It worked.
And
Yeah. All right, we're going to take one more quick timeout. When we come back on the other side, more with Jared Brown from Gamecock Football. We got a couple other things to look back on from 2024. Then we're going to look ahead to 2025 and talk about his development, what he's looking like going into this season, and also, maybe some of his teammates. So take a quick timeout here on the game. You're listening to the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Cooling and Heating. All right, welcome back in. Chris Clark here, hanging out with Jared Brown from Gamecock Football. You're listening to the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Cooling and Heating. Appreciate all of those parties for their support of the show and helping make this appearance happen. Jared, before we dive back into the season, do want to give you an opportunity. You're here on behalf of the Gamecock Club. So I know y'all have done some events for the Gamecock Club. Got a chance to, interact with some of the fans. The Gamecock Club, of course, is funding scholarships, opportunities, etc., for fellow athletes like yourself. But just wanted to give you a chance to give a quick shout out to the Gamecock Club and to all the Gamecock fans out there too.
yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Gamecock Club for sure. I appreciate everything that you're doing for me and all the other players. And all the Gamecock fans, I appreciate all y'all love and support, that you give me and my team as well too. So I really do appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the GamecockClub.com, of course, is where you can go to learn more about becoming a member and how you can help continue making things like this happen. So, Jared, one more game to get to from 2024. We were looking back earlier at Missouri and Vanderbilt. The Clemson game. I mean, you had a few catches in that game as well. Down to the wire game.
Yeah.
How did that one feel at the end when the clock hit 0?
So Clemson and South Carolina is a big rivalry, and
Yes, we've heard.
yeah, I knew that, but I really didn't feel it for real because I didn't go to South Carolina or Clemson, but after that
Right.
game was ended, I even felt it in the game, and I could tell it was like this rivalry was real. So the end of that game felt very good. Like I just like that was one game that we really did circle to,
Mhm.
and we knew that we were going into a hostile environment. We knew that, so we just went in with our head down, and we went in and handled business.
Have you seen anything ever like what Lenoris did on the field that day? I mean, I can't get over that still.
Nah, I really haven't. That man's different. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, I've never seen nothing like that.
That 3rd and 16 run, I mean, is
Yeah,
already legendary, but it's still, I mean, it has to be one of the most like viewed YouTube videos or clips for Gamecock Nation ever. I mean, that
yeah,
that that run was just crazy.
yeah,
So,
it was.
um, so let's look ahead now. You're about to go into spring ball, like we said earlier, about 2 weeks roughly until you start spring practice. Where's your head at? I mean, what are you really kind of honing in on for your next steps in your development as a player?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta work on a lot of parts of my game.
Hmm.
That's cleaning up routes, learning the details, understanding defenses, understanding the playbook. Uh, I've been in a lot of offenses. Even when I was at Coastal, we were switching offensive coordinators, switching offenses. I went from the triple option to spread.
Hmm.
So uh, no, I think I have a good understanding of learning playbooks, learning concepts, stuff like that. So just the little things I'm really working on. Just trying to become a better player. Trying to become a student of the game.
What about some of the teammates that you've had coming in, and we'll get to some of the guys that are returning with you, but it seems like there have been some positive returns on some of the freshmen that'll be joining the room. I think a 6-man class that's
Mhm.
joining. Murph will be on camp. Donovan Murph will be on campus this summer, but 5 early enrollees. Looks like a bunch of guys that are pretty athletic and can run. You mentioned Brian Rowe earlier, and his basketball ability. That watches football tape. He can run. He can jump. But what have you seen from those guys in the early going of workouts this offseason?
Yeah. Not even just those guys. I mean, I want to point out Malik Clark. I want to point out Jaden Sellers, and I want to point out Lex Cyrus too.
Mm-hmm.
Them boys. Really all of them. They're all great players. They all came here for a reason, and all of them are athletic too. So it's it's gonna years to come. It's gonna be very tough to maintain all three of those if they're on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be very hard. But yeah,
Well,
they are some very good players. I like what I've seen out of them so far.
mm-hmm.
Um, they they're picking up on things quick. So that's all you can ask for.
How do you view the competition in that room? Because we've seen this in the past, like with rooms where there's a lot of competition. There's only one ball, right? There's only a few spots, but you see a lot of times rooms are in a really good place, like kind of like a brotherhood. And it seems to me, Jared, that in spring ball and really in the summer and preseason and probably throughout the season, the receiver position's one where I think is going to be some of the best like competition for playing time on the team, in my opinion. And I mean, what do you think of that? And then how do y'all handle like the competition while still being really close and
All
connected
right.
to each other?
Yeah. I say this about everybody in that room. They want to see everybody get better too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's no hate in the room. If the best player is gonna play at the end of the day, and all of us want to push each other to be the best that we can. We all hold each other accountable. Uh, Whether that's dropping the ball, or that's running the wrong route, or that's getting the wrong depth. We're gonna let each other know because we know that we're better than that. So I feel like it makes the competition better too, and it gives us a chance to get closer as well. Because like we know each other outside of football too, and we love each other outside of football too. So it's just gonna make each other play. Is gonna make all of us play for each other.
How important are the off-season workouts and activities? Let's talk about those
Hmm.
activities too, right? Like the
Yeah.
basketball tournament. Y'all have had wiffle ball, dodgeball. Who knows what other sport y'all break out here soon to play? But like just in creating that connectivity and going through those things together when the season rolls around.
Yeah, I feel like those are very key elements too. It gives all the players a chance to bond. We're
Mhm.
all competitive too, so we're always gonna have fun out of it. But yeah, it gives us all the chance to bond on a different level. Not just football. So I feel like those team activities are very beneficial.
How did you do? You mentioned basketball. I mean, y'all
Right.
did pretty well because you won the thing with your team. But how'd you fare in dodgeball and wiffle ball?
Uh, we're not gonna talk about those two, but
Oh, okay, not too well. Okay.
yeah,
I did
yeah.
see. Did you get to peg Furry or any of the other coaches with a dodgeball at
I
least? I mean,
didn't, I
okay.
didn't, I didn't, I didn't see Furry into, I didn't see Furry until like the last game, but like we weren't even playing him. He was just there.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
he might have
yeah,
been hiding from you.
yeah, maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
he might have been. Yeah, y'all don't know what sport's coming up next, though. You don't want to give us a spoiler on that.
Uh, I really don't even know. So
Okay, they'll let you know when you show up. Um, sounds good, man. So, spring ball, last couple minutes, Jared, is coming
yeah.
up. We talked a little bit about kind of some of your goals and everything, but who are you really excited to see on this team? And we've talked about the receivers, so give me a couple other guys maybe on this roster. They can be young guys, veterans. that you have been watching in workouts and you're like, man, I can't wait to, watch that guy progress throughout the spring? Are there a couple guys you could shout out there?
Yeah. What have I seen come my eye? Like, does it have to be offense or does it be
It could
defense?
no defense actually even better, I think.
Yeah,
Even more.
defense for sure. I am excited to see Fred Johnson. I'm
Oh yeah.
excited to see him. I'm excited him to step up and make plays the way I know he can for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I would say Nick Harbor too. Nick has came a long way for sure. Uh, we all see the way Nick is working. He wants to get better, and we could
Mhm.
tell that. So and he has been getting better. So I am excited to see him next season for sure. Excited to see Nick. Uh, yeah, I mean that's yeah. I guess I
Two
guess I
good
could
ones.
say that's it. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's two good ones.
like I could name everybody on the team. Like I
Sure.
am, I'm excited to see everybody play on the team for sure.
Yeah.
I just seen the way that we've been working this off season. We know that we left that last game on the table, so we don't want to have that feeling again. So we're gonna work towards and not have it
Good
and go
stuff.
even further.
Yeah, Beamer mentioned that as a theme of going even further this year. So
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing everybody starting in spring ball here in the next couple weeks. So
Yes,
Jared,
sir.
hey, appreciate you taking time to hang out with us, man. It's been fun.
Yes, sir.
Wishing you all the best. Wishing you a healthy and productive 2025. Thanks for your time, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all.
We'll be right back here on the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Cooling and Heating.